Hi guys, welcome to another video. Hope you're all keeping well. Seeing as it's Mother's Day tomorrow, I'm going to do a very appropriate review. This is a review for a 1980s American slasher movie. It's got quite a notorious reputation in regard to the censorship and all that went on in the year 1980s. So it's an American slasher film. It was directed by Charles Kaufman and it stars Nancy Hendrickson and Rose Ross, who plays the evil matriarch of the title. And that is a movie called Mother's Day. Now, as per usual, guys, before I say anything further about the movie and give you my thoughts on the storyline as a whole, I'll just read you the synopsis on the back of this edition, just in case you're not familiar with this movie. There was actually another Mother's Day made quite a few years later, starring Rebecca De Mornay, and I might actually review that at some point in the future. But getting back to this anyway, I'll just read you the synopsis. Right. Now, this is described as one of the most notorious and controversial horror shockers of all time. It finally comes to UK Blu-ray, uncut and uncensored. Mother's Day introduces us to three 20-something women on a camping trip to hell. Our helpless heroines are stalked and snatched by a pair of psychosexual brothers and their insane parents. But estrogen proves tough to overcome, and Mother's Day ultimately provides us with a chair-gripping, sanguine, stained battle of the sexes. Prepare to be disoriented and disturbed by one of the true greats of 80s independent terror. Considered to be a classic of the backwoods slasher genre, Mother's Day debuted in 1980 to censorship problems and critical confusion, but gained a fan following that includes such Hollywood heavyweights as Eli Roth and Brett Ratner of Rush Hour. Indeed, Ratner would eventually produce a lavishly budgeted 2010 remake starring Rebecca De Mornay, the movie I just referred to. Yeah, although as in most cases it is the original which is most potent and powerful, it's certainly second that. Now, 35 years after its premiere, Mother's Day has lost none of its lacerating satire, and its influential splatter outing remains recommended to even the most seasoned of scary movie fans. So there you go, guys. That's the synopsis for the 1980s American slasher movie, Mother's Day. I'll just show you the back there, guys. Some stills from the movie. Yeah, there you go. And they are, guys. There's the extras there. Yeah. All right, then, guys. On to my thoughts now on the movie as a whole. Yeah, good little slasher movie from 1980. Quite shocking in parts, as the description just read out, plainly indicates. The performances of all the cast were brilliant, especially the titular role, the titular title. This is a matriarch who's an absolute fruitcake, and she gets her two sons to prey and pounce on these two girls and abduct them, drag them back to the house and throw them into this kind of they surprise them like in the middle of the night. The girls are all in the woods in their sleeping bags, and these two are watching, from deep in the forest and that, and they abduct them, they tie them up in the sleeping bags, they drag them back to the house and that, and then they present them some other, the kooky mother, and then what they do, they capture them and they string them up in this kind of little small household gym, and then they start picking on the girls and that torment them. That don't want to go into too much detail about this movie, guys, in case you haven't seen it. But if you like your real heavy American slasher movies, I think with a little bit of satire thrown in. As I say, this woman, she's an absolute fruitcake. She really is. I highly recommend Mother's Day if you haven't seen it. Many memorable moments in this movie, including one or two funny ones as well, where the girls are in they've gone into the backwoods and that, and are sort of telling stories about like the past and that, like the boyfriends and that. And one girl recounts the time when involving, I won't go into too much detail about it, but this guy goes into the this large American football stadium and with his girlfriend and that, and he strips naked in the football stadium. Misses. And he's just going to get down to business, and and all of a sudden it's in darkness, the football stadium, the lights come on and the girls are there in the control room laughing their bloody heads off, and he's standing there with no clothes on, and he's panicking, he's running back into the bloody trying to get out of the stadium, the humiliation of that, really shocked him in that, so that was the funniest moment in it. And then you've got the kookiness with the mother and her sons and that, it does send itself up, guys, a couple of times, and that, as well as being a very, very brutal horror movie, it does send itself himself up with these kooky characters and that, you know. But oh yeah, and the two sons, they dress in these like weird like these like, well, one's got a flying helmet on, and then the other guy there, he's got like an equally strange like he's got like a white bag over his head. If you see that, guys, yeah. And one guy is like he's got a face like something that Frankenstein had created, a real grotesque face and that, you know. He reminded me a little bit of the Boris Karloff movie, was it The Raven, where he had a disfigured face and he wanted Bela Lugosi to fix his face. You know, that it was quite reminiscent of that. But say the other guy, he was normal looking, dark hair, but he was just as vicious. Let me tell you, he was just as vicious as his equally kooky brother and his equally kooky mother, yeah. But I'd say, guys, if you haven't seen this movie, I think you'll have a blast with it. If you like American slasher movies, you know, with a bit of an edge to them and a dollop of humour thrown in. But the humour is very well done. It doesn't overshadow the movie. You know, a lot of horror movies, like, they overdo it a bit with the dollops of humour. This doesn't. It works well, guys. It is primarily a horror movie in that, you know. And I've got a little booklet here, guys, inside. I'll just show you. Just bear with me. I'll just... There you go, guys. There's the booklet there. It's only a thin one. This is like actually an interview. Yeah, matriarchal memories portraying the mousy but increasingly empowered part of Abby, played by actress Nancy Henriksen, was one of three actresses who battled a demented backwoods family in 1980s classic thriller Mother's Day. Yeah, so it's an interview with her, basically, guys. Yeah, that's all you're getting it, like. And reversible artwork, but the only difference with the reversible artwork is you haven't got that. You haven't got that on the top, yeah. But yeah, I thought he enjoyed it and that, you know. All the three of them, like, you know, the Maddest Hatters, like, you know, the real kooky trio and that, you know. And there's another the scene where, like, when the brothers have captured the girls and that, the girls obviously they're terrified and that, they're chained up in the gym, and they're gonna start picking on the girls and that for what they think is as fun. It turns out to be very, very sick. So they're gonna get this. They pick on this girl, and the mother says, "No, no, no, I want her." So they get this girl, dark curly hair, they drag her outside and that into the garden and that, followed by, you know, madcap mother. And then, like, they sort of like set up. The mother takes a seat in the garden, and she's sort of like as if she's going to watch a great theatre production. That, you know, she's basically her face is a mask of glee, and she gets them to put on these weird role play things and that, you know, in the garden. So basically, you know, they get the girl and that, like, and they you know, they basically free her from her bonds and that, and get her to sit on the. I won't go into too much detail, guys. They get her to sit on a nice park bench and that. And one of the brothers says, "Now act like this, act like that. Now cross your legs and that." And he gets hold of a leg and makes her cross her legs and that. And of course, it descends into very, very dark narrative, guys. You know, culminating in a very, very brutal rape scene. But that's all I'm going to say. You know, but they're really twisted these and that. And oh my God, she played by Rose Ross. Oh God, she's one of the most craziest old ladies I have ever seen in an American slasher movie. She really is, you know, got no mercy at all, tormenting these poor girls and that, you know. And also you get one of the usual horror tropes, you know, when the girls initially go into the backwoods and that, you know, on the camping expedition. You stop by at this, like, there's always a secluded little service station or a secluded little shop, isn't there, in the middle of nowhere where hardly anybody ever goes in, if you get me drift. And they talk to the guy behind the counter, the proprietor, and yeah, one of the girls mentions that they're going into the backwoods. "Oh, no, don't go up there, don't go up there." What did you do? You go up there. Yeah, and he looks as if he's a gummy, he's got no teeth, and he looks as if he could do it. You know, a visit to the dentist to get some teeth in his head and that, you know, he's gummy and that, you know, "Don't go up there," and he's shouting at them. "I don't go up there," he's shouting like, "Don't go up there, don't go up there." You know, he sounds funny, you know. He's got no teeth. Oh, you want to see it, guys? You know, along with the scene in the football stadium where the fellas start naked and the bloody lights flash on, and see him there, stand there with nothing on. Yeah, that scene with the bloody kind of a simpleton proprietor of the secluded store. You know, he's funny, like I say, he's got no teeth and that. I know he's shouting. Yeah, but apart from that, guys, that you know, next to the humour, primarily it is a very, very dark, brutal movie. And you know, if you're a nervous disposition and you don't like these kind of movies where girls get abducted, you might be wise to avoid it. But yeah, it's a good little slasher movie, and that. And I say, you know, given its notorious reputation as well, with the census and that. But I've had this movie, you know, quite a few years now, and it's only the second time I've watched it, like, you know, so yeah. I did have it, like, in regards to second time watching it, I mean on Blu-ray. I did watch it many, many years ago when I first got my video recorder. I watched it in the early 90s, but the picture quality was left a lot to be desired, guys. Well, you know, remember the dropouts with the VHSs and that? I hated that bloody dropout, yeah. But yeah, it's an enjoyable little slasher movie, and I say you can see it's under this label, the Slasher Classics Collection, 88 films, yeah. This is number 2. I've got quite a few of these actually, guys, yeah. And the movie starts with quite an opening bang as well, if you pardon the expression, because we see like the old lady in that, you know, driving along the country roads, like and she's got these 2 people in the car with that, you know, a young girl and a young lad, and they've obviously got designs on beating her up and robbing her, you know, like all alone, like in the backwoods and that, you know, on her own and that. But the car breaks down, and she has to get out. The old lady has to get out. She starts fiddling in the bonnet and that. And while she's fiddling in the bonnet, you can see these 2. They're ready to sort of like pounce on it and maybe even kill her, you know, but they don't get a chance to, because all of a sudden the 2 sons come from nowhere and they grab them and they decapitate the fella and they get the girl and that, you know, and oh my god, guys, yeah, it is very, very brutal, yeah. Yeah, so that sets the tone really for what's to come in this very, very dark, twisted you know, American slasher movie, Mother's Day. But yeah, the way the sons just pounce from nowhere and that, you know, and the right weird pair and that they really are, I say, along with the mother as well. And there's another strange scene as well, guys, where you see the mother, like, she's sort of like sitting there, and well, not sitting there, she's standing there with a clipboard and that. And what she does, she gets her 2 sons to, like, you think you're like in an army training camp, because she gets her 2 sons to run around this sort of like assault course and that, doing these like what soldiers would do and that, you know, doing press ups and that, and negotiating obstacles and that. Oh yeah, she's a real bloody nutcase, this woman. This woman, she really is, and that, you know, one of the craziest old ladies I've ever seen in a horror movie, believe me. Yeah, she gets her son to do some really weird things, guys, aside from abducting young girls and killing them and that, you know. As I say, she looks like she's like a demented PE instructor, or you know, or a female army officer standing there like with a clipboard and that, and left presiding over them and that, and picking them up if they make any errors and that, you know, well, I guess if they're training to be soldiers. Oh yeah, there's some strange scenes in this, guys, yeah. And I say, if you haven't seen it and you like these sorts of movies, I think you might have a blast with it, yeah. And that part what I referred to before about the naked guy in the football stadium, we hear a very, very popular song. Well, it's the original version, actually. Do you remember Tiffany, I Think We're Alone Now? She sang in the shopping centre. Well, we hear the original guys in this, you know, accompanying the fella stripped naked in the football stadium, ready to get down to business and that. We hear the strains of that. Now, I didn't know that was an old song, I Think We're Alone Now. Yeah, I forget who the group was that did it in the 60s, but yeah, Tiffany had a big hit with it. I think it was around about, was it 1988? Yeah, I always remember Tiffany singing it in the shopping centre. I think we're alone now. Yeah, but yeah, I say, guys, so, yeah, quite a few fun moments spattered through this movie amid the horror and carnage. Yeah, so but I won't tell you what happens. Like, obviously, if you know, don't want to spoil it for you at the end and that. But oh yeah, it's a very, it could be quite nasty in parts, like what these 2 guys do to the poor girls, and that girl's absolutely terrified and that, you know, getting abducted and that, you know, in the sleeping bags, and the sleeping bags pulled over their heads and that, and they're just dragged unceremoniously back to the house of the demented mother. And she's a kind of like yeah, she's sort of like got a hold on them, like very, very dominant, like, you know, she tells them to do all these strange things and that, you know. But yeah, I had a blast with it. I enjoyed it, yeah. And the picture quality is lovely in this edition, guys, yeah. Oh yeah, beautiful colour, you know, the scenery, like the cinematography, the woods and that, and the colours of the clothing of the cast and that, yeah. And all this woman, guys, you know, she's a real bloody nutcase. She really played brilliantly by Rose Ross, yeah. Alright then, guys, on to ratings now for Mother's Day from 1980. Yeah, I would give it, I would say I'd give it a 9 out of 10. Yeah, very, very enjoyable slasher movie and that, you know. And as I say, like, it's a good mix of horror and comedy, but the horror predominates, if you know what I mean, yeah. So I'd highly recommend, if you haven't seen it, I'd highly recommend the Rebecca De Mornay version as well. That's quite good, but this is the best one, guys. This is the most brutal one of all. And as I say, given its notorious reputation in the eyes of censorship and that, yeah. Okay then, guys, well, yeah, well, I say, getting back to Mother's Day, hope all you mothers have a good Mother's Day, and you get some nice presents and that, you know, have a good time and that. And yeah, so okay then, guys, I'll wrap this video up now. Usually, if you like the video, please feel free to share, subscribe, comment, and all going well, I'll be back again very, very soon with another video. Take care, and happy Mother's Day tomorrow, all you mothers. Bye for now.
If you enjoyed watching this video, guys, you might like to check out my website at www.alantoner.com. You'll be able to find out a little bit more about my work as a writer and all the books I have published to date. Thanks for watching.